Welcome to Alterminds, the podcast where neurodivergents come together to share their unique perspectives and experiences. I'm Kay, and alongside my co-host Ange, we aim to create a welcoming space for our community.
Today, we're thrilled to have our editor Romi joining us as we explore the challenges and triumphs faced by neurodivergents both locally and on a larger scale.
So grab your headphones and get ready for an engaging and informative conversation that celebrates the vibrant tapestry of neurodivergent voices. All right, welcome back to Alterminds. It's a brand new day, and we're here with Bree, and we have a new person to introduce to our team. Rami, do you want to introduce yourself?
Uh, it's pronounced Romi.
Romi, do you
I'm
want to
wondering
introduce
about that.
yourself?
I'm Romi. I'm a filmmaker from the Goulds. I just graduated the Paul Pope Center for TV and Film,
Nice.
and I'm happy to be editing your episodes from here on out.
Welcome aboard.
we are
Definitely
also
welcome aboard.
we are also happy because I was doing it before and it was taking me so long to do just the littlest parts because I don't know how to do anything. So I'm happy about that. To have
One
some,
less thing for Kay to do.
yeah, very much so. With a 5-year-old running around, it keeps things quite alive.
For
Okay,
sure.
5-year-old. I mean, you've got all the things that are on the go as well too. I mean, it's the long to-do list of, working mother. It's a long freaking list. Especially this day and age. I mean, with all the things that are changing now between politics, what schools expect of parents,
God.
what they demand of parents.
The schools have been, I mean, they dropped off a letter the other day that said that all of a sudden my son needed a plaid shirt. So then I
Yeah.
had to go looking for a plaid for the Christmas concert. I'm like, y'all couldn't let us know this like a month ago, because how are we going to find plaid shirt like 2 weeks till, like before Christmas? Do you know what I mean?
But you have to assume that your neurodivergent child is willing to wear said plaid shirts.
That's
That's
gonna
another thing.
that's gonna be the real fun. That's gonna be the real fun entertainment right there, is seeing if he's gonna wear it or like how he's gonna feel in it up on that
Yeah.
stage or whatever. There.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it could be difficult to find in his size to begin with. And then the fabric is something else that you have to consider. And I mean, what to wear underneath it, so said fabric possibly doesn't irritate the daylights out of him. I mean, I have all those sensory issues. I get where he's coming from. My nephew, when he was, I think, 4 or 5, he was very concerned with everything looking absolutely perfect. And if he didn't, the thing that he would say was, but it won't look cute. And he honestly, to hear him say this was the most adorable thing ever. But he was very concerned about his presentation.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Anyway, Bree, are you all ready for Christmas?
No. Welcome to autism.
Yeah.
No. I am ready for absolute ADHD autism mix, I should say.
Yeah.
I have everything planned out. I have done none of the things.
There you go.
That's
There
the
are
vibe.
lists everywhere. Nothing is done. We aren't even barely started Christmas shopping. And
Ugh, I
well,
hate Christmas
with the
shopping.
delay, see, this is why I say welcome to autism, because the way I do things every year, because I hate going in the stores at Christmas time, I tend to order as much as I can online in October, November. But because of the strike, I couldn't do that. So now I have lists of Christmas gifts to get that I couldn't order. Therefore, I'm panicking.
Yep.
Every time I think about going in the store, I'm like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And then I drive over there because I'm in Mount Pearl. So, like, I'm right next to the square. I drive over for a coffee and see all the cars. I'm like, not today. We'll do that tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes because tomorrow we see the same problem. So,
Yeah.
basically, I am going to last minute go. And honestly, in my group, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I actually posted my meltdown. I went out just before Christmas and I couldn't breathe. I was standing in the line. I was hyperventilating. I sat down in the line because the line was like an hour and a half long. I was standing in the line and I ended up sitting on the floor. People were looking at me like I was nuts. I couldn't stand there that long, and I was hyperventilating because I couldn't breathe. So then I was getting weaker because I couldn't breathe right.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having a full-blown just like panic attack, and I got through the line and got out to my car, and I just cried for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Curled up in my bed and just cried all night. And it was just complete overwhelm. Just complete overwhelm. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't regulate afterwards at all.
No, I get
So
that. I
I'm
went
not
to
looking forward to it.
no.
At
I went
all.
for just like for a grocery shopping trip, a small grocery shopping trip a few years ago. All I had was $50 to my name. Hello, poverty. Yeah. And I had to get 2 weeks worth of groceries with $50. Right?
Been
So,
there.
and I can't math. Math and I are not friends. I love physics. I love chemistry.
I do too.
But I cannot math to save my life. John is my math guy, my husband.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling him, and I have APD, right? So I don't recognize when I can't see somebody else talking, and now visually impaired. That adds a lot of fun to all the things now. So I call him and I'm like, okay, I have the following items, because I have to be very careful to make sure that the items that I pick are items that are going to last and they're sensory friendly for him, because he has more sensory food issues than I do. So I have to make sure I picked out very, very exact items. So I call him and I'm going, okay, so I've got this, and I'm listing the prices. And he's just on the other end going, okay, he's also hard of hearing. What I didn't understand as we were going through the list was he was just acknowledging that I had said something. He wasn't actually mathing. So we get to the end of the list and he was like, okay, and? Dude, am I within my $50? I don't know. I don't want to get up to the line, okay? And not be able to get this stuff, because I also have to go to Go Bus, and Go Bus is here at a certain time, and I'm wigging. I got home, and it was like I was sitting on a barrel of monkeys. John had to come up behind me and put me in this like embrace, like this hug embrace
hug.
to stop me from like rocket blasting, right? And he actually had to hold my head like as if it was going to pop off my body at some given point in time, because it was that extreme.
Yeah.
People don't get it. Like they really
No.
don't.
Stores
That's what I
are
mean.
pressures they put on
Everybody
you.
looked at me and they're like, "Oh, you don't look autistic." I don't look autistic until I'm sitting on the floor in Walmart in a line,
Yeah.
hyperventilating because I've been standing there for too long, and I can't stim, and I can't move, and I can't breathe, and I feel like everybody around me is sucking the oxygen out of the air.
They
And
are. I honestly, they
no,
are.
seriously, there's
No, not
a term
joking.
for it. I've had it my whole life. I feel like there's too many people in a room. There's not enough oxygen in the air. I don't know what.
I was
I
like that when I'm
breathe, but
sleeping next
nothing's
to
coming
when
in.
I sleep next to somebody. So when I was growing up and I would have sleepovers, when I was sleeping next to someone, I couldn't face them because I'd be scared that we'd be breathing each other's.
I'm like that with my husband now. The window is
Even in
open.
a blanket. Have you ever gotten a blanket by yourself and then took a few breaths, and after like the third or fourth breath, it feels like there's no oxygen?
You're like, there's never oxygen left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
didn't.
do it. But yeah, I don't look super autistic until that moment, or until I'm home crying for 4 hours and I can't regulate and I can't tell you why I'm crying. So like that's why I
How's
posted
somebody
those
supposed to
videos that
look
time, just to show
autistic?
people like that's when I look autistic, but I save it until I'm at home. So
Yeah.
you don't see it.
You save it when you can, and that's
I
part of the
save it
thing.
when I can. That's what I mean. I probably
Yeah.
look weird sitting on the floor hyperventilating, but they wouldn't automatically be like, "Oh, she's autistic." Until I'm at home hyperventilating and crying, cannot stop crying, don't know why I'm crying, just hysterical stimming and crying in my bed for
And
6 hours.
there's that, and then there's the extra burden of when you don't have childcare or anything like that, because nobody sees us as needing respite or anything like
Yeah.
that. They're just like, you've got this shit, you're fine, no
Oh,
problem,
yeah.
carry on, whatever. And yeah, so they don't give you any respite or anything like that because you don't qualify. You're functioning, right? You're getting along well enough in life. You don't need any help. So you've got to bring your kid. And your kid is going through exactly the same thing you are, just their own version of it.
You want to know what's funny to me, actually? And I don't know if other autistics experience this, but I kind of have since I've had kids, and I think it's a little bit to do with my ADHD. I actually find it easier to manage when I'm focusing on their needs than mine.
Yes.
If I'm by myself, I find it more overwhelming than when I'm focused on them because I ignore mine. Now, that said, I still crash when I get home,
Yeah.
but I don't find it as sensory overwhelming because I'm so focused on how they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm
I'm like
not
that with
noticing the
John,
noise,
but
and I'm not, but I'm
different.
also hyposensitive, so I'm less sensitive than most people. So that's why I can handle a lot of noise and stuff until I can't.
Yeah.
So basically, but yeah, I find with my kids, I find it actually kind of easier sometimes, especially when they're not overly having a really hard time, like, because when they are, that hijacks my senses, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I get
at
that.
the same time, like when they're having an okay time, I'm so focused on them that I kind of block everything else out. So it
Yeah.
kind of helps. It gives me a center. It's
Oh,
almost kind of like a
Romi's.
sim
I think
in a
Romi's
way.
trying to say something.
Romi's trying to say something.
God, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
So
That's
sorry.
another problem. Like
It might
I
come
can
sometimes,
back.
only
like
see
I
one of
want to
you at
say
a
something.
time.
Sometimes I want to say something, and and people just talk so much that I end up forgetting what I'm gonna say.
I do that all the time. I think there's a react button.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
If you
yeah.
press the react button, then you
Oh,
can
there's a
raise the
raise
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
I forgot. I keep forgetting about the raise hand.
Yeah, let's use that.
Somebody click it so I can see if I can see it, because I only can see the person who's talking at a time. So if she isn't saying anything, I don't see her on my screen.
How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, perfect.
Well, all of you guys talking about parenthood, I'd like to be a parent one day.
Yeah.
And mom, yeah, my mother's like, yeah, you think you're gonna handle having kids?
Well, we did. Me and Bree did.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
I'm a
people.
stepmother, in case you can't see my hairy wart there on my nose. Yeah, so but the kids they're adults now. I mean, we're way past all that. And the kids live in Labrador and we live here in St. John. So it's a bit of a bit of a different gig. And I'm quite a bit older than both Kay and Bree. I'm a dinosaur by comparison. So I just get to give the ancient wise stuff and whatnot, and some of it'll count and some more of it won't.
I was told I wasn't going to be able to handle having kids as well.
Same.
I went through my entire teens in burnout, and then I became an addict.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, my mom, kind of confiscated because she did not think that I was capable of taking care of. And when I had my second child, sorry, when I had my second child, she wasn't able to confiscate that one. And I kind of was able to prove myself at that point because she didn't have the capacity to take that one.
Am I hearing this
Um,
word correctly? Compensate?
Confiscate.
Confiscate.
Like
She took
confiscate.
my, yeah,
FIS. Okay,
she
sorry.
took my daughter to
I thought we
babysit
created a
one
new word.
time
I
and
was so proud
decided
of
she
us.
wasn't bringing her home.
That
So,
must have been like really traumatizing for both
Yeah.
you and your daughter.
How could it
yeah.
not be?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely was. I won't go too deep into it, but my mom was a social worker. She was child welfare.
Oh,
So
okay.
I wasn't able to fight her. She
I
worked
I
in the
have
social work office.
yeah, I have some feelings about social workers. Like
Yeah.
if yeah, like
Same here.
yeah. It's giving gatekeeper, it's giving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just mean that, like, I definitely relate to the idea that sometimes people just don't give us credit because they
Yeah.
think that we're just incapable
Yeah.
and don't let us. It's that child mentality. They think that we're children. I still have teddy bears. I'm 35 years
Yeah.
old and have 6 kids. I still sleep with a Winnie the Pooh teddy bear.
And
I'd
I
that's a
still
still
good
have
thing. So what?
collectibles. I
I still
still
love
have, my
Barbies.
room is filled with like little knicks and knacks. I mean, you guys have seen my room.
Oh, Romi's got a thing.
Yeah, you ought to see my room. I still sleep with toys, and I still have a bunch of toys lying around. I have
We
a
should do a
bunch.
room tour
Yeah,
someday.
At some point,
yeah.
sure.
One day I will. I have a large collection of Muppet books.
I love that.
Nice. I love
But I
Muppets
love
and
I
Fraggles.
love
Oh my god.
if I could be honest, which I usually am, but
You are. You're blunt, and that's a
transparent.
good thing.
I think that it makes us really good parents because we still have childlike joy. Like we can still feel childlike joy, and we still like
Yeah.
some things that, like, I love Arthur's my favorite show, and it always has been. Um, but like I can play with my kid really easily. I don't find it difficult to play, although he's not a great player. He's not very good at sharing. He's a bit bossy.
I think it kind of benefits us a little bit
Yeah.
in some ways, and it's a detriment in some other ways. I'll be completely honest. Like
Mm.
I can't get down and play with my neurotypical kid. I don't
Oh,
know
your
how. I don't.
neurotypical kid, right? Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
I
But
forgot you
Yeah,
had a
autistic
neurotypical
kids and
child.
Yeah,
I
I've
get
actually
along really well because we're very similar. And like you said, I love Arthur. I love that kind of stuff. So we get along great, and like I can do those kind of things with my one kid. He's probably got a diagnosis, but it's not autism. But he's a social kid, so he comes home and wants me to call the other kids' parents and set up play dates, and he
Nice.
wants us to hang out, and I just can't.
That's a
And so
heartbreak.
I find it hard. I find it really hard to manage a social child and to
I
like sit down and like play. I don't know how.
I wanted to be Astro Boy when I grew up. That was my want. And as I grew older, I decided I wanted to marry Optimus Prime.
Okay, yeah. Optimus Prime
What
could
do you
get it.
do?
Bumblebee,
Bee's awesome. I
he is the best.
would that make Optimus, I would be your stepmom, I guess,
Yes,
in a way,
you would.
because yeah, fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
I liked
You would be an
That's not a
awesome
bad thing.
stepmom.
I liked Ash from Pokemon. He was my first like crush.
I didn't
Ash
know
Ketchum.
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
thing I know about Pokemon is Pikachu. That's it.
let me
That's all I
just
know.
say I guess I have a crush on Daisy from Mario. She's always been my favorite character she's always been my go-to when we play Mario games like Mario Party and Mario Kart.
No,
I
that's
like
I always
awesome.
had
cartoon
to be
crushes.
Mario. I am diehard Mario fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Batman fan.
Oh, I do love Batman.
My
Don't
Batman.
don't ever try to be anybody else, but if you can be Batman, be Batman. Yeah, that's I
Exactly.
think
Yeah,
along
Like
the
if you
lines.
could be anybody, why not be Batman?
Yeah.
yeah,
Batman
or
rocks. He has all the cool
that
toys.
that and Kermit the Frog.
Kermit. Yes, I love
Oh
Kermit.
yes.
Kermit's good.
I used
Yeah,
to have a snake named Kermit.
Oh,
we
did you
have
ever
a
call him Kermie?
No, I just called him
Okay.
Kermit.
a
Kermit,
Okay.
Kermit the snake.
Nice.
snack.
He was a green snake.
Oh wow.
Snake.
My sister, she has when Canada Post decides that they're going to play nice again, she has some Fraggles that her children just decided they didn't want. So I'm like,
Oh
hey,
my
send it along.
god!
I'll take it. I
Oh
want
my
the little
god,
That's
Fraggles.
Fraggle
amazing.
Rock!
Yes.
I have a bunch of plush Fraggles. You can't see them because my Zoom background's blurred, but
Yeah.
they're up there on that ledge.
Oh, nice. I look forward to the tour.
Yeah. What could speaking of stores though, and like Christmas shopping or Yule shopping, whichever, what your holiday shopping, um what could make it better? I always think about what stores could do to make it easier to go into stores as autistic or neurodivergent people, or disabled people in general. Like what can make it easier? And like right now around this time of year for me, it's the noise is overwhelming and the crowds are overwhelming.
I
I'll be
mean,
honest.
I kind of like to avoid the holiday rush by getting certain gifts
Yeah.
as early as possible. I got my first Christmas gift in probably August. It was when the pedestrian mall was open.
That's awesome that you're able to shop early.
Yeah.
My ADHD doesn't really let me. I kind of leave everything for last minute, but I'll tell you what's been on my mind lately. I really wish, and I said this like 5 times this week for things that I needed like one thing in the store. I really wish that I could pull up to the dollar store, call in and be like, "Hey, I understand that we can do online shopping. I understand that we can do online order it and then go pick it up, but that's a process and that takes steps and things
Yep.
that I don't have time for, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to swing by there to pick it up, or like I'm hectic. So
It's not even time, it's just ability. Like you have to have various cognitive processes available to
Yes.
drive.
Yeah,
I wish a lot of these stores just had one person or two people designated to answer phones and take orders and bring them out to your car. So if you called in and say, "Hey, I need this thing. I'm out in the car. Can you get it for me and bring me out a debit machine?"
I feel like these were lessons we should have learned during COVID because they were the normal processes during COVID. And
I
people took that.
I loved everything about like not
Yeah, not everything,
not
but yeah.
COVID, but like the way that we had like isolation and there was like 6 foot distancing from people, and I was like, that was great. Let's go back to that, please, where we can be distanced from people, especially in stores, because some people are like right up on top of you, and I'm like, I don't know you. Back up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The other, yeah, that and the only other thing I miss about the lockdowns was all those quarantine events where like people would like get into Zoom rooms and do like TV reunions and stuff. I got to see Watkins Family Hour. They're this band. They're this folk band. Watkins Family Hour, they did a little show, and I mainly dropped in because one of my favorite actors was one of the guests, John C. Reilly.
Cool.
I like him. He's funny.
Yeah, more events like that.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I plan to I'm hoping to see John's Mr. Romantic show, which is just like Great American Songbook stuff.
Mr. Romantic. I've never heard of that, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't know that one either. For the shopping stuff, so for me, I don't have a choice in the matter. I'm housebound. I have the ability to move with my legs and stuff, but it's all very limited. So I quite literally just got approved this past week for a walker combo, a walker wheelchair combo. So my worker will be able to push me when we actually do to go to the grocery store and things like that. But beyond that, like the processes that I have to go through in order to get assistance to get out of the house, including being able to book the worker, have the worker hours approved for the particular task that I want to be able to do, then have that worker schedule actually work with the time that I want to go out, and then book Go Bus, who will randomly show up or not, and half the time, like they've left dialysis patients outside of the health science for 4 hours after an appointment.
Oh my gosh.
Like they're really going to be dependable picking up my sorry butt after a grocery shopping trip. And on top of that, you're really limited to what you can actually bring with you. Like you can bring 2 bags, that's it. You can put them in a carrier, but my walker is also another piece of device, right? Like my walker, my walker wheelchair combo is another device. So I'm already over, right? Like I'm only supposed to either have a basket, which has the 2 bags in it. You can't be over the top of the basket or anything like that. Like they're very, very specific. So you're really, really, really asking a lot from people in positions like mine. And I mean, that's one of the things, like why I get so mad at Canada Post, I guess. I support people being able to do, have their rights respected.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. I'm no problem with any of that. And it wasn't even the Christmas shopping thing because I'm poor. I can't afford to send presents to people and things like that. But my mom is sick. I don't get to send things to my mom very often at all. She's about to go into hospital for her own, for a cancer surgery. I wanted her to be able to have something small, like Sudoku puzzles or something like that. Something from her daughter who can't be there from the other end of Canada.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, this was a big deal thing. It's the only thing I could do, right? Was to help contribute to hopefully a healthy recovery for my mom. So, but I'm also hearing stories of people up in the north, and they're having to reuse disposable diapers because that's the only that's all they get.
And that's, I mean,
It just made me so mad.
It's it's the workers shouldn't have even had to go on strike because they're asking for bare minimums, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it should never have gotten to a place where they were on strike. Their employer should have agreed to their agreement. And
Yeah.
because they've been trying since like 2018 to
Yeah,
get
really.
they have some,
Basics.
and it's like important rights where it's, one guy was talking about how he's in Yellowknife and he's out walking the beat about 6 hours a day and they want to up it to 8 hours a day so he has no inside time. And I'm like he's saying it's cold, I can't just be out for 8 hours outside, I need to come in sometimes to get warm. And that to me is not asking for a lot. I'm like, that
It
seems
isn't.
like I wouldn't want to be outside for 8 hours either.
No.
So it never should have got to this place where people are now needing, well, like you said, reusing disposable diapers because
Yeah.
they
Not
don't
able
have
to
any
get
diapers,
cancer meds,
not able to get
diabetes
cancer
meds,
meds, yeah,
really,
not
really,
able to
really
get the
simple stuff.
needs met, that you can't get your needs met. And
Yeah.
it's an essential service. It's
Supposed to be.
the post workers, they're essential. It's just wild how I think there's been this turn that has happened. So during COVID-19, during the pandemic, which I mean still happening, but like during when we were actually, caring about
Yeah.
it, everybody was talking so respectfully to workers who are essential and acting like, oh, these are essential workers, we owe them our lives. And now they're
We're just
like
chewing them apart.
they're like you're ruining Christmas by going on strike. Well, they shouldn't have to go on strike, babe. They shouldn't have to.
Here's
That's
my
simple.
opinion on this.
Yeah.
So I feel like the blame is being put in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Am I
yeah.
happy
Oh.
with the strike?
No.
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 Like you said, should they have to go on strike? No.
No.
Do I think it would be fair for them to do like half of them on strike? No, because they weren't going to get anywhere. So they
Yeah.
picked before Christmas because they knew that
It would
they
matter.
are essential, which for them, that was the best choice they could have made,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
Like
to
the
do it
point was
right before
proven.
Christmas. The ones that are refusing to work with them are the ones who don't care that we're not getting our Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not the strike people. They're not
No.
even giving them a reasonable. It'd be different if the strike workers were being unreasonable in their requests,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
They're not. So
No.
if they were
Reasonable
saying
stuff.
like, hey, we'll give you this, and the strike workers were like, no, we don't want that, that's not good enough,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were meeting them halfway, that'd be different.
It
But
never
that's not
that
what's
never
happening.
happened. Yeah, and that never
That's
happened.
not
And
what's happening.
I
No.
think
The head people are the ones that need to be getting the shit for this
well,
because
yeah.
they're the ones who could care less that we're not getting Christmas.
And they make a exuberant amount of money. They make
Oh yeah,
six
they're
figures,
all
and then
rich. Half of them are
and
probably
then
on vacation for Christmas.
go
I
ahead.
don't
We
even
have
look at it from a
oh
Christmas point of view, though.
we have a
Like
hand
to
up.
me, it isn't
Yeah.
that. To me, it's fair worker processes,
Mhm.
and considering that, I feel like there should have been a skeleton crew established somehow to make sure that at least bare basics did get done. Because the whole rewashing disposable diapers is not cool for anybody on any level. Like it
Yeah.
just leads to extra healthcare costs and things like that. Like we just really did not need to be here. It's just to me it's upsetting all over. And
Yeah.
and then I look at people who are like us, who are then trying to function within that system that is not functioning. And I worry.
On a personal note, I have relatives who work at Canada Post, and they are now they're like a married couple, both out of work because of the strike, and they're
Mm.
probably not going to be able to afford Christmas gifts, let alone, and they're just
Because they get strike pay, right? So they
Yeah.
don't get fully paid. But and their pay is not that much anyway. So like one of the things that they're fighting for the strike is an increase in pay because they haven't had an increase in pay since I think before 2018. And they're only making, like, I've looked at those job postings, they're only making from $19 to $22 an hour. That's not a living wage. So you
No,
can't actually
it's a
live off of that.
bit more if you're up in the north and you get
Yeah.
like the northern allowance, but it's not that much considering
Yeah.
all of the costs that have gone
Yeah.
through the roof.
So I
Ooh, fidget toy.
hopefully people
Yeah, I
will
see you playing with yours. I'm like, oops, I need to get mine.
Yeah.
hopefully
It's
people
flicking
will
my
hear
hair. I'm
us.
constantly with my hair, man.
What, like playing with your hair?
Oh man, I don't
Same.
stop. My hair gets oily in a day because I'm always like this. Like,
Ah.
doing this to my hair, fixing something. So anyway,
I put mine up in a braid the other day, and I found myself just like whipping my braid around.
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, it's a good song.
And that was my stim for the day. I was just whipping my braid around.
I do
All right,
it when
we
I have a
have,
ponytail in.
We have about like what 10 minutes left, so keep
Jeez,
it at
that flew.
45.
Oh my God, yes.
But on the topic of stores, you know, like low noise, and I don't. And here's the thing: the sensory hour thing. Everybody praises the sensory hour thing, but I think it should always be sensory hours because I think it should just be like universal. Of like, why do we need to hear these Christmas songs over and over again while I'm in the store? Why do I need to hear that? I don't need to hear that.
I don't like the placement of them because they go with like 1 hour on a Monday. Yeah, and the assumption is that
Or like 8
whoever's
a.m.
autistic is going to be automatically available for that time, and you can make arrangements for that. Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm a little bit because so I get a bit of a different perspective on the autism stuff than a lot of other people do because I am, like I said, I'm hyposensitive. So basically my baseline is hyposensitivity. So basically what happens is that I can handle a lot of noise. I can handle chaos. I can handle all of it until I hit overwhelm. But I don't realize I'm getting overwhelmed because it's not necessarily in your face overwhelming. So what happens is that I can handle it, and then all of a sudden I'm yelling and screaming and nobody can understand what's going on. So sometimes like I'll be talking to the kids and I'll just turn around, walk away. I'm like, I need a minute. Like I gotta go like now because I'm gonna hit something. Because like I'm fine, and then I get this intense like urge to like freak out and I don't know what it is. So I know now that I'm autistic what it is, but the reason that I'm saying that is I have a bit of a different experience. So my life is very chaotic. I can handle chaos that most people can't handle because I'm less sensitive than the neurotypical population. So because of that, I have 6 kids, 4 dogs, 70 reptiles.
I think people will argue
I own a rescue.
I think people will make the argument that you are able to handle that because you've had to. And I actually call that out. I call that a big fat line of BS because that goes back to ABA principles and exposure therapy and all that other stuff. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry. No, it just comes down to every person who is autistic is very different than the next person who's autistic.
When
That's
I
it.
have 5 minutes to myself, I can't handle being bored. That's why I became an addict at one point in my life. Because I can't handle not having anything to do. It's a bit of my ADHD mixed in there. I need to be busy and I don't relax well. You will never catch me sitting down watching TV. It's very, very like once a year, like watching a movie. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. I don't have time for that. I have better things I want to do with my time. And if I have 5 minutes where I have nothing to do, I start something new. That's what happened with the autism page. I ended up in an argument and Leanne was like, hey, you should start a group. I'm like, that's a bad idea. And she's like, no, it's not. You should try. I'm like, okay. And I did. And then I spent months working on that on top of everything else. And anyway, it's complete chaos, which is awesome. But that I was getting to the sensory time at the store. That was my point here. I'm very busy. My schedule is very busy. I don't have time to check when there is a sensory hour, make it in there for that sensory hour, that kind of stuff. So, and even if I did, like I said, I don't think it would matter. It's the planning, getting there on top of everything else I have to do. It's the finding out what time it is. And it's still to me overwhelming. Like I would rather.
And there's also inventory stock. We live on an island. Inventory stock. We live on an island where you get 3 days of whatever.
Oh yeah.
So assuming that you get to the store and you're able to get all the things that you need at that particular sensory hour during the week with whatever limited funds you have. I mean, like it just doesn't make sense to me. Whoever did the math there does math like I do. Like
no, I appreciate that they try. Like my son doesn't do a whole lot with his time. He needs like mostly relaxation time. And if he was going to go out, he would prefer to go at that time. But he has no other obligations or places to be. And I find a lot of them are mid-afternoon when a lot of us have jobs. We still have to live, unfortunately. I mean, there are a lot of autistics that have jobs. There are a lot of us that don't, but there are a lot of us that do. And the ones that don't, a lot of them don't have, like you said, a worker to come take them, or that's a whole other
Yeah.
Yeah.
a whole other
Stores
thing,
put them
right?
at like 8 o'clock in the morning as well
Yeah.
too. After the 7 to 8 seniors hour, then
Yeah.
they put us at like 8 o'clock because that's the assumption that we're all just ready to go at 8 a.m.
I
Yeah,
think it
right.
would be beneficial if rather than doing a sensory hour, they did one day a week.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
the whole day was like that, and we could schedule that day for our shopping. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry, Romy.
okay, sorry. I mean, I'm a lot like Bree that I can handle noise. I can handle certain things better than most other people, but I'm but like certain sounds they'll just turn me off.
Mm.
I left
What
that
kind of
out. I
sounds?
can handle chaos. I cannot handle two people talking to me at once. I will
Some like
immediately
loud
go
There you
into
go.
some
meltdown.
loud squeaking or some loud like squeaking of metal or something.
Mm.
My husband's
The
chair
kids
sets me
screaming
off.
at the top of their lungs. I can
Mm.
handle the noise. If they squeal, I can't handle it. Or if two of them try to talk to me at once, can't handle
Yeah.
it.
I don't
Immediate
like
meltdown.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I can
yes,
handle them
that
yelling
and
at each other all day long, but if you're trying to talk to me and I'm trying to listen to you both at once, I literally start to panic because I can't hear either of you.
Mm.
yes, like when I'm trying to do something and my mom just ropes me into something else.
Oh
That
God,
is
yes.
Oh yeah.
Tendril theory. I love that
Oh,
theory. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but basically, I have a cartoon drawing is that we have little tendrils coming out of our head that's focusing on the thing, and we
I
can't
feel
just
like
rip them out.
NeuroWild did one similar to that.
We have to like bring them back in slowly and then
Yeah.
switch tasks. We
I
can't just
love that.
rip them out and
Yep.
turn.
I love
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I
I
love
feel
it.
like
It's one of my
NeuroWilds
favorite
that
cartoons.
That
that
Neurowild,
the
yeah.
Facebook page,
Yeah.
NeuroWild. I love their cartoons. I feel like
They're
they
very
had
good.
one similar to that.
They make stuff. If teachers don't know this, they make stuff for. There's like a teacher website where you can buy resources or whatever. I forget what it's called. It's like teachers help teachers, teachers pay. I don't know, something like that. And but NeuroWild has their stuff up on that website. So if
Oh,
you're a
nice.
teacher, you could check out NeuroWild because they have some really good infographics explaining things.
We're gonna
Nice.
post some of these things on our
Yeah,
on
resource.
our website when we get that set up.
Mm.
That's my bag. I'm working. I work that angle. Um, excuse me.
All
And I
right.
think we're gonna
Well,
put it up on the Alterminds page while that stuff is being developed.
on on that note, we are at the end of time. Well,
Oh,
about 1 minute. So,
that was fast.
um, I wanted to say thank you to Bree for being on as a guest again. Appreciate you.
Yay.
Of course.
And
I'll come all the time if you want me to. Just tell me
That's
where to go and I'll be there.
yay.
and we'll be
I
back
like these.
probably in 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the goal, and we're playing around with our timelines and things like that. But we're also people tend to look at us and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're info dumping again." So I'm really liking the idea. Info dumping is fine, but at the same time, they're 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 specializing us. They're pigeonholing us
Oh
into
yeah.
things that are not realistic at all. So I like the idea of us sitting down and having these organic conversations, talking about the everyday stuff that everybody else does as well, because
Hmm.
we're no different.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
autistic. Yes, we're we're neurodivergent, but that doesn't mean that we can't be involved in the everyday stuff the same as everybody else. Doesn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean we should be excluded, right? So I mean, I like these conversations where they get to see that we're not different, we're not scary, we're not the people that go roaming around everywhere screaming our heads off, things like that. I like when we get to present being the girl next door.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening to Alter Minds, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bye.
In the meantime,
Bye.
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 Thank you for watching Alter Minds. We'll see you next time.